Who do you think will win Ikaris versus Homelander? The showdown between two superhuman warriors. Ikaris possesses extraordinary powers comparable to those of a god. He flies freely in the sky, possesses superior speed, terrible physical strength, and is almost invulnerable. His ability to fire cosmic energy beams from his eyes makes him a living weapon of destruction, capable of piercing even giant battle machines. Not only is Ikaris powerful, he is also an eternal, which means he can survive for thousands of years, regenerate and recover quickly, and is almost not limited by age or disease. Homelander is the embodiment of the distortion in the superhero ideal. He possesses physical strength far beyond that of a human, flies at supersonic speeds, and his eyes emit destructive heat rays that can melt steel. Homelander's durability is almost absolute. Few people on Earth can hurt him. However, the big difference lies in the mentality. Homelander lacks restraint and is easily led by his ego, making his power both terrifying and dangerously unpredictable. Before we dive into the analysis, please hit the subscribe button and remember to turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thank you very much. Ikaris is a warrior with immense power, likened to an eternal flame in the universe. Just by spreading his wings and soaring into the sky, he can cause thick layers of clouds to disperse. Once heading straight for the sun, Ikaris created atmospheric shockwaves, causing giant clouds to disintegrate just by the pressure from the energy radiating from his body. With his sharp heat vision, Ikaris once destroyed a giant part of the Domo ship, which was designed to withstand even the fiercest explosions from the sun. The destructive power of this became even more evident when the energy from Ikaris' eyes pierced a deviant, who was once capable of breaking the protective shield of the ancient Sorcerer Supreme. That shield is considered the equivalent of the energy wall that Doctor Strange used against Dormammu, an entity that could destroy entire planets. Each of Ikaris' attacks is destructive on a scale so great that it could put the entire world at risk. He can endure and survive in the fierce outer layers of the sun, where the stellar core releases up to 92 petatons of energy per second. That means his body can withstand energy levels of nearly 89 petatons or less, a number far beyond the capabilities of most heroes. Ikaris is on the cusp of being multi-continental in power, making him one of the most dangerous warriors, not just on Earth, but on any planet that dares to confront him. Ikaris is not only known for his destructive power, but also for his speed. He is fast enough to go toe-to-toe with Makari, who is considered the fastest man in the universe. Makari moves at speeds that surpass Captain Marvel, who can glide at the speed of light, even faster than the most powerful bursts of Thor, a warrior who can react to rays of light traveling hundreds of times faster than the speed of light. Yet Ikaris is still able to keep up with her. Ikaris' ability to fly, he once took off from Earth and reached the sun in just 8 seconds, a distance that light takes more than 8 minutes to complete. As he flies, his body tears through the atmosphere, creating streaks of light that are as dazzling as shooting stars. Each of Ikaris' wingspans carries an authority that shakes the sky, affirming that he is one of the most superior warriors. Ikaris' strength is still inferior to Gilgamesh's, but that does not make Ikaris weak. On the contrary, he is capable of defeating deviants with ease. Thena, an elite warrior with superb fighting skills, once killed Crow after he absorbed the terrible power of Gilgamesh. However, Ikaris is still considered superior to Thena, because his power lies not only in skill, but also in stability and superior power. However, he still cannot compare to the milestones of ultimate power such as Thor, Thanos, Scarlet Witch, or Doctor Strange, who manipulate energy and magic on a cosmic scale. However, Ikaris' position is still special. Ikaris still holds its own aura, burning like an endless flame. Each Eternal is born with a source of power. They possess a special form of immortality, unaffected by age or disease, and their bodies can regenerate to a perfect state in a short period of time. The physical strength of an Eternal is at least as great as the ability to lift over 15 tons, far surpassing that of any human. The cosmic energy in each Eternal's body can be channeled into a myriad of different abilities. Some can manipulate matter at the molecular level, changing its structure and nature at will. Many Eternals also master the ability to fly, cutting through the wind and darting through the sky like arrows of light. Although he can lift or move more by consuming cosmic energy and/or TK, faster than the speed of sound, capable of teleportation, and strong enough to withstand full-force attacks from the Hulk or Zeus. But it can't be compared to Thanos. However, Ikaris' position is still special. He is a warrior with a power that combines endurance, speed, and destruction, enough to become a threat to any enemy who dares to oppose him. In a world where the boundaries of power are always pushed to the limit, Ikaris still maintains his own aura, burning like an endless fire. I really hope you subscribe to the channel, it will help us a lot, and you are the best, thank you very much. Homelander is the embodiment of pure power, a virtually invulnerable warrior. He is completely immune to ballistics and conventional weapons. Maitland Stillwell has admitted that every weapon on Earth has been tested against Homelander, but all have failed. In an absolute sense, that means he can withstand nuclear bombs, a level of endurance that is beyond most superheroes, perhaps even on par with or surpassing Superman. While this is somewhat of an exaggeration, it cannot be denied that Homelander is at least capable of facing extremely powerful explosions and remaining standing. Homelander flies at supersonic speeds, easily breaking the sound barrier at the age of 12, suggesting that his power potential was established at a very early age. His reaction speed is frighteningly fast, as evidenced by his ability to catch and melt knives thrown by Black Noir in an instant. Homelander is not only strong and fast, but he also possesses sophisticated senses. He can hear explosions from miles away, and can even detect the sound of fingers touching a phone screen from far away. His X-ray vision allows him to see through solid walls, and his sense of smell is so acute that he can recognize Billy Butcher's traces just by the scent left on Queen Maeve. When needed, his heat vision can easily cut through steel, blow open shielded doors, and destroy solid walls. Homelander's heat vision is one of the most terrifying weapons he possesses. Just a flash of red light from his eyes, the energy emitted is enough to incinerate the brain of an enemy in the blink of an eye. This heat once caused Stormfront to suffer third-degree burns. With a speed measured at about 15 meters in 0.04 seconds, heat vision reaches a speed equivalent to Mach 1.1, faster than the speed of sound and powerful enough to cut through and destroy a flying jet. In fact, approaching Mach 23, faster than Homelander's natural reflexes, makes this attack a nearly impossible weapon to dodge. However, Homelander is not completely invulnerable. Queen Maeve once wounded him with a steel sword, leaving a visible scar on his seemingly impenetrable face. Billy Butcher even killed an even more vicious version of Homelander through a combination of strategy, special weapons, and extreme cruelty. In fact, Homelander's body is not completely immune to all forms of damage. Depleted uranium bullets can penetrate seemingly impenetrable skin, and rudimentary tools like a crowbar can be used as a finishing weapon in the hands of someone determined enough. Superman, Hulk, and Omni-Man would never be so badly injured after such a confrontation. I don't even think Homelander could survive the cold vacuum of space, or the extreme pressure at the bottom of the ocean. He certainly wouldn't survive a trip to the sun like Superman and Invincible. Homelander is the strongest superhero in the Vought universe, but he doesn't have any impressive feats. He hasn't lifted weights the size of the Earth for a week straight like Superman. He hasn't destroyed a planet by flying through it like Omni-Man and Invincible. He hasn't smashed an asteroid twice the size of Earth like the Hulk. Obviously, Homelander possesses a high level of superhuman strength, but there's really no way he's ever shown his full potential. Homelander has almost no fighting skills or experience. As the strongest hero in his universe, he's really no match. The villains in the Vought universe are also paid actors, so he's never had a real fight, and when he finally does fight, he loses. Pretty miserably. Even in the Amazon series, Homelander was shown to be incompetent against Soldier Boy, Butcher, and Huey. He panicked because he had never faced anyone who could actually hurt him. Superman has defeated the likes of Darkseid, Doomsday, Mongol, General Zod, Shazam, Wonder Woman, and Hercules. Invincible defeated Conquest and Thrag, both of whom are considered extremely powerful even by Viltrumite standards. Sentry fought the Hulk to a standstill. As for his ranking, it's not unreasonable to put him on par with Spider-Man in general despite the outcry. The reason is that Spider-Man is much tougher than people think, and has some abilities that could potentially even allow him to look down on Homelander as a threat. The MCU's Spider-Man is hard to quantify because even after several movies, they still seem to treat him as a young, up-and-coming hero, so we don't know what his potential is, but it's likely similar to the comic. For most of the MCU, he also had access to an Iron Man suit that he never seemed to be able to fully exploit to keep things interesting. I suppose if he actually took the time to master the suit, he would have put Homelander in a bad light as well. Strictly speaking, the big reason they have similar power levels is because they do different things, although in a real fight I wouldn't expect this to be resolved. The bottom line is Spider-Man is by definition immune to surprise attacks. Spidey sense. And any way Homelander attacks him will likely leave. Homelander taking a lot of punches and gradually getting exhausted, he's much more durable, while not being able to land anything on Spidey until Homelander basically decides to retreat. Neither of them have any clear intention of wanting to end that fight. Homelander is basically not someone Spidey can beat because he can just fly away at high speeds and not have to stay to fight him. The difference between Homelander and other superhumans is like the difference between a normal person and an Olympic athlete. Sure, you can get normal people who are pretty strong or fast, but there are also families of athletes who have children with other Olympians to create the most structurally gifted kids. Homelander was created by Vought to be able to handle Compound V, not genetically limited to being able to handle it. A city is in chaos when a mysterious force suddenly appears, spreading fear throughout the streets. In the midst of this scene, Ikaris, an eternal warrior with divine power, lands, determined to protect the place. But his appearance immediately attracts the cold gaze of Homelander, the leader of the Seven, who always aspires to become the ultimate, irreplaceable symbol. Homelander sees Ikaris' appearance as an affront to his authority. With an arrogant smile, he provokes, declaring that only he is worthy to protect the Earth. Ikaris, loyal to the mission entrusted to him for thousands of years, does not accept such arrogance. The tense silence is quickly broken when Homelander charges forward. His superhuman speed turns him into a streak of red light, and in the blink of an eye, his eyes burn, emitting a fiery heat beam to overwhelm his opponent. A mocking laugh echoed through the night sky as he called Ikaris an outsider, confident that no one could stand against him. But Ikaris was unfazed. Millennia of combat experience, he dodged the attack and countered with a sharp blast of cosmic energy. Blue beams tore through the air, violently colliding with Homelander's red glow, creating dazzling explosions. The city shook, buildings cracked, glass shattered, and the ground rumbled like thunder. People fled in panic. Homelander charged into battle with his usual violent style, using his superhuman strength and speed. He grabbed his opponent, pushing his body straight through the glass of a skyscraper, creating a deafening explosion. But Ikaris' sharp tactics and agility in flight quickly lured Homelander away from the crowded space, dragging him to the outskirts of the city. There, Ikaris could unleash his full power without fear of the lives of innocent people being threatened. Blue light surrounded him. The battle became more intense as both of them unleashed their full power. Homelander, full of ferocity and ruthlessness, continuously threw punches so powerful that the atmosphere was torn apart, resounding like thunder. On the contrary, Ikaris maintained his composure, utilizing his endurance and endless cosmic energy to fight back. As the two soared into the sky, the confrontation reached its climax. Homelander's eyes burned, emitting a red heat ray, while Ikaris' gaze burst with a blue-white energy beam like a miniature galaxy. The two sources of power collided, exploding into a giant ball of light. Homelander roared, his eyes glowing red like two hellfires, then released a fierce storm of heat vision. The hot energy beams tore through the air, cutting across the sky and burning each row of tall buildings. Glass shattered, steel melted, and skyscrapers collapsed like blocks of wood slashed by an invisible blade. The entire city was engulfed in the red glow of destruction, but amidst the devastation, Ikaris stood tall, his body challenging the limits of his strength. Homelander began to lose control. The repeated but futile attacks made his mind falter. Pride and mental instability gradually pushed him into a state of madness. In his rage, Homelander made a mistake, leaving a fatal gap in his defense. Ikaris did not miss the opportunity. His eyes flared, emitting a dazzling beam of cosmic energy, then combined with his extraordinary physical strength to launch a strike like the hammer of a god. The impact echoed through the air, throwing Homelander high into the air and slamming him down from a height of thousands of meters. The violent wind swirls around Homelander's out-of-control body before he falls like a meteor to the ground, creating a giant explosion that shakes the entire city. is basically a big boy with strength, but extremely weak and immature mentality. He has never had to really fight for survival. When faced with an opponent who is fearless and can hurt him like Ikaris, Homelander will quickly panic, get angry, and lose control. His lack of experience and unstable mentality will be his downfall. Homelander will realize that he is facing Ikaris, an entity he has never seen before. Fear and anger will cause him to make mistakes, and Ikaris, with the experience of a 1,000-year warrior, will take advantage of that to finish Homelander. And the winner is definitely Ikaris. I hope you enjoy this fight. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Follow me if you like. That's today's video. Thank you very so much.